Hi, I'm Robin Dolan from Robin Dolan Books and Music. Welcome to my channel. I haven't been here for a while, but the recent wildfires in Southern California have lit a fire under my butt, and I've got a topic to talk about, which is the wildfire housing crisis here in Southern California. Is an RV the answer? I've heard some people talking about this possibility, and I wanted to share my experience and a few pointers if you're thinking about this, just food for thought. That's my experience. Anyway, we've all heard how the guess and gouge industry, aka the housing and accommodations industry, has inflated prices and rents because of this enormous demand from displaced people, displaced by the wildfires by no choice of their own and no fault of their own. This is how supply and demand works. But yes, I agree that it is not fair and it is not kind to these people who are not moving by choice, or they've just been burned out. So anyway, what happened during the pandemic is with RVs, the prices went way up. People were buying them. Of course, this was by choice, but the prices went way up, and the availability was harder and harder to find. I believe that's going to happen again with this situation in Southern California anyway. Maybe not all over the United States. But with the need for housing, I believe that RV prices are going to start going back up. They've recently come back down, but here you go. And again, it's supply and demand. And soon, California is going to outlaw gas vehicles, and I don't think there's too many electric RVs out there. So, and by RVs, I'm including truck campers, camping trailers, just anything within, and not just the full, or like Class C, Class B, Class A RV. I'm also including towables and truck campers in this category. So there's that to think about. Southern California is going to outlaw the sale. That means you can't buy new or used and register it in California. Okay, but more of the drawbacks later. First, some positives. And I can 110% recommend the RV lifestyle. I love it. I lived it for full-time for 3 years, part-time for many years. If you're interested in it, I highly recommend it. I could go on and on about how much I love it and miss it. I RV'd for full-time for 3 years and loved it before I moved in to take care of my dad. And even when the truck broke down, even when I was in a truck camper with 3 kids, even when I was in a 14-foot 1970s trailer with 1 kid, 2 dogs, and a cat, and a brand new 27-foot trailer with 1 kid, 1 dog, and 1 cat. Also in a Class C, 27-foot. Okay, these are not, you don't have to have a huge RV to enjoy this lifestyle. I've not lived the van life yet, but I think that's going to be my next iteration of the RV life. We'll see, but that's not what this is about today. My needs, you got to consider your needs if you're going to do this. Do you need to be hooked up to electric and water? Are you comfortable with propane appliances? Okay, my needs were a working bathroom. I have used a composting toilet. I don't care for it. I like a flush toilet, and I like my bidet. I haven't figured out how to install that in the RV yet, but anyway. I like a working shower, and I can take a shower without using up all my water. You learn that quick. You can also be hooked up to water to take a shower in your RV. I've done that, and that gives you a longer shower. And if you have a dual system water heater that's propane and electric, you're not going to run out of hot water that way, even though it's a 6-gallon tank. Your electric will kick in and heat up your water. What else did I needed a functional kitchen. I like a gas range. I had a range oven. I did use my oven. I know a lot of RVers don't use their oven. I like a range and an oven. I like a reasonable size refrigerator. It does not have to be huge, but it has to be bigger than a cooler. And I like having a freezer that will fit the 1/2 gallons of ice cream and a couple of roasts, a couple of small 3-pound roasts and ice cubes. So it doesn't have to be a huge fridge. It doesn't have to be a house-size fridge, but it's got to be a reasonable size. And I like salads, so it's got to fit some vegetables. Okay, what else did I need? A separate bedroom was nice, especially traveling with children, but even, just me and the dog, I like that separate bedroom. And I don't much care for the dinette style. I'd rather have a sofa and tray tables, but that's just me, and I'm known to be a little bit different. But dinette is just basically a place to eat, and it can fold down into another sleeping area. Also, my RVs had plenty of storage for my needs. You learn what you need. I had plenty of pantry space. I love to cook. I cook from scratch, and I had plenty of room for all that stuff, plus dishes, plus paper plates, plus snacks, plus my clothes, plus my tools. So also look at, the essentials that you're going to need to have with you, plus the pet food and a place for the pets to sleep and a place for the litter box. I had all that in all of these iterations of my RV lifestyle. Everybody adjusts to this in their own way. And so another one of the advantages of living in an RV full-time is if you don't like a place, you can leave and go somewhere else. If you have children and pets, you don't have to worry about them damaging some rental that you're going to have to pay for, or some hotel room that you're going to have to pay damages for. Okay. And, this is just me. I'm known to be different. I wrote a book on homeschooling. I wrote a book on leaving the city and moving out to the country and setting up a homestead. So, my ideas are not for everybody, but if you want some food for thought, here they are. Now back to the disadvantages. Because if you run out and buy an RV because it's going to solve all your problems, you're going to have another set of problems to deal with. So, anyway, the disadvantages: finding a place to park. This is Southern California. I'm sorry, but it is not RV friendly. Most of the cities have restrictions on where RVs can park. You can't just park on the street. You can only park in front of your house for a few hours. Some places you can't even park your RV on your own property in your driveway. So you've got to look at where you're going to be living or the area you're going to be staying in, and you might need to move your rig occasionally to comply if you can even park on the street in these areas. Also, think about, do you need hookups or are you going to be self-contained? Do you need water and power? Do you have solar or are you going to run your generator? The generator noise is another issue. Is that going to be allowed or tolerated where you're going to be parking? And are you comfortable with propane appliances? I am. I'm more comfortable with propane than natural gas because I know how to hook it up, take it apart, and make sure it's not leaking. Natural gas is a little bit different. Okay. Just as RV prices are certainly going to go up, RV park prices and campground prices are going to go up with this demand, just like they did during the pandemic. A lot of cities have restrictions on people living in their RVs. RVs have become a solution for a lot of homeless people. Unfortunately, some of these people, and even some that are not homeless, that are just weekend warriors, they are very trashy. They dump out their trash on the streets. They dump out their sewage on the streets. And this is why there are so many restrictions on this in Southern California. So you have to check where you're at, whether you're allowed to sleep in your RV parked on that street, basically. Because the few have made it bad for the many, which is what so often happens with legislation. Okay. But with these restrictions, it is possible that some areas may ease up on them due to the current situation. Probably those areas closer to like the effective areas, but I'm not guaranteeing it. I mean, I imagine, my imagination says that some areas in Southern California, as long as there's not a lot of complaints, will hopefully ease up on restrictions with living and sleeping and parking your RV. So just check. Okay, campgrounds will also fill up. RV parks will fill up, especially for people who need to be near their jobs. There's a lot of jobs here, and people need to be near them, and traffic is horrible. Friends may offer their driveway again. Before you take them up on that for more than a night or two, you better check with the city and county regulations on RVs. And let me tell you, when I was full-timing, my experience was it is hard to find boondocking in California. It is hard to find a place to pull over, let's say on Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1 up the coast. There's pullover spots. There's even spots where you can get away with staying overnight and wake up and look at the ocean, and it's beautiful. But they're always taken, and there's just not a lot of boondocking areas in California, period, from north to south. So be aware of that, and if you know of some, there are some in the desert where it gets up over 100 degrees starting in May through October. But in the winter, it gets down below freezing and very windy. So keep that all in mind. And so anyway, those are the negatives. Let's get back to some positives. Think outside the box. If you need to be near your job, then you have more limitations. If you don't need to be near your job, or you're thinking of working remotely or already are, you're retired, you're financially independent, or you're just insanely adventurous like I was when I started out with this, you can venture outside the Southern California area and explore what else is available. I've found lots of boondocking areas in the Southwest, especially Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. There's national parks, there's the state parks, there's even city parks outside of Southern California that offer a parking spot, that offer a little section where RVs can park overnight. There's a lot of BLM land, do your own research. There's a lot of YouTubers living in their RVs, campers, or vans full-time. There's a lot of information out there, which I won't even try to match. I'm just giving you food for thought. Also, that's a danger alert because it can become addicting to live in your RV. So if you have children in school, you can homeschool. I did. I wrote a book on homeschooling. And there are lots of other books on homeschooling also. Things have changed and improved as far as I'm concerned since I last homeschooled. And my youngest is way out of high school now, way beyond. Okay. There are also lots of social opportunities for homeschooled children and homeschooled children living on the road. So, especially since the pandemic, there's been a lot more opportunities for this. But even when I was homeschooling my oldest 3 children, there was a lot of social opportunities for them. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents, and that's about what it's worth, too, on choosing an RV while you're deciding what to do next if you have been displaced by the recent wildfires. I hope I've given you some food for thought, and I hope things get better for all of us, especially here in California. Thank you. Bye.